Your life can change in an instant. Maybe it's someone you love. When a brain injury happens, things will probably never be the same. So we need to raise money to help keep those programs going that give the people who've had brain injuries the treatment they need so that they can recover most, if not all, of their old life. We've got the Director of Communications for Neinstein Associates and Mix and Mingle committee member Ruth Fernandes here, and the Director of Operations for BIST, Michelle McDonald. BIST stands for Brain Injury Society of Toronto. Good to have you both here.
Thank you for having us.
Now, was I right in saying like that your life can change, or the life of the one you love? And you know, if anybody in a family gets a brain injury, that whole family is affected, right? So tell me a little bit about BIST, Brain Injury Society of Toronto.
Well, BIST is a community nonprofit. We support individuals and their families living with brain injury in the City of Toronto. We do this through support, awareness, education, and advocacy.
What sorts of things would classify as a brain injury?
It can happen as a result of many different incidents, like a motor vehicle accident, as a stroke, brain aneurysm, sports injuries, anything that is a concussion. We've now understood through many scientific research that it is a brain injury.
Yeah, there's more and more talk of concussions these days, but of course it can be even more serious than that. So there's this whole awareness campaign that's on right now, right?
Yes, BIST, June is Brain Injury Awareness Month in Ontario, and BIST has launched a new campaign called areyouaware.ca. And we've built a website about brain injury, so what the prevalence of brain injury, how often it happens, how serious it can be, and to educate the general public about what it's like to live with a brain injury. You mentioned that it affects everyone in the family. So we're really trying to increase awareness about brain injury.
How often does it happen?
A lot. In Ontario, there's 18,000 brain injuries a year. And it's the leading cause of death and disability in adults under the age of 40.
Wow. And we hear about kids more and more getting concussions too.
Yes.
I mean, they're wearing their helmets, or they're supposed to be, but that's not preventing all of the injuries. So we have to keep the funding going so that we can keep learning how to treat the brain better. It's such a delicate little bit of tissue.
Matter, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the recovery like for someone who has a brain injury? I'm sure it's different for everybody, but what is the prognosis?
That's probably the most common asked question to doctors, but it's probably the most difficult to answer. Every brain injury is different, so depending on the location of the brain, whether it's frontal lobe or there's no easy answer to that question. For some, it's there's symptoms that last for anywhere from a week to a month, and then there's some that forever they'll be dealing with the symptoms of the brain injury.
And I guess some symptoms are obvious. Maybe you can't move certain parts of your body, or you can't speak as well, but there might be some other subtler symptoms, right?
You know, some like mood disorder, 80 to 100% of concussed or acquired brain injury survivors will have communication difficulty, and so that's that's really important to pay attention to that.
Just as it can affect you just as much, but it's less detectable by other people, right?
Well, brain injury is called the invisible disability, and a lot of the people that we deal with the judgments and misperception from the community, in that they think that they don't understand that it's a cause of their brain injury, not something they could control. And so with this awareness campaign, we're trying to break down those barriers.
Good stuff. The Mix and Mingle is all about getting people together and to raise some money and awareness. Tell me about that.
So that's taking place on June 11th from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Steam Whistle. And, it's very fitting that you have an oyster shucker here today, because, we use the oyster as a symbol of the brain because it is so delicate and it's such soft matter. And we're going to be having some great oysters by Oyster Boys, some other amazing food and great entertainment. So we hope that everybody can join us on Wednesday at the Steam Whistle. Tickets are still available, but it was a sold-out event last year, so we're encouraging people to buy their tickets today or tomorrow so that they can have a great time.
Get it done.
Yep.
Where will that money raised go?
Well, the Mix and Mingle supports two organizations, the Brain Injury Society of Toronto and the Ontario Brain Injury Association. And this event, this is the 10th year of this event, and it's really celebrating the partnership between OBIA, the Ontario Brain Injury Association, and BIST, and really all of our sponsors and stakeholders and partners. And this is it's an industry event, so it brings together all the doctors, nurses, social workers, everyone that works in the field of brain injury, brings them together in one amazing space at the Steam Whistle, and we're expecting over 700 people. Wow. And so it's a really great event supporting two great charities in Ontario.
What's the latest in treatment these days? What are researchers and doctors excited about?
One of the biggest topic right now is environmental enrichment, and that is really, it means to engage the acquired brain injury survivor with a stimulating environment through cognitive exercises that really enrich the brain, some social environments like bringing out the survivors to events and gatherings with their family and friends, and physical exercise, so you can release those endorphins and start feeling great, and that really impacts the brain in a positive way.
And will it help the brain grow new areas around the injured part?
That is an interesting question. Neuroplasticity is so how the brain sort of regrows, and it's obviously a living, but the research is showing that your brain can sort of regenerate, and so that is a new area, and but definitely keeping people engaged, keeping them active. Brain injury survivors are at risk of social isolation. 22% of brain injury survivors don't ever leave their homes. Oh. So really keeping them engaged.
It's important to get them out there and socialized.
And it's important to get us out to the Mix and Mingle. So all the information is on obia.ca or BIST, BIST.ca. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
When we come back, I'm going to be shucking some oysters.